Well,
And we're
hello,
live.
hello. We are live again. Hello, everyone. Well, I know that there are some people already connected, so thank you for already being there. We are super excited for today's session. Our guest today it's a friend of us, and he knows a lot about this subject and pretty much everything related to partnerships. So we are super excited for the value that we are going to bring today. So I'll introduce him in a few minutes. We'll give a few minutes for people to actually join because we know that, well, some people join a little bit later. And for also the newcomers, so the idea of the session today is to have a rapid fire Q&A. Okay, so the format is actually to have go step by step, but give our guests will answer the questions when you have them. So I encourage you to ask the questions during the topic. We won't wait until the end. Okay, so please actually ask the questions, and then yeah, in the meantime we already have 7, so we'll wait a few minutes. Also, just to introduce myself, I'm Ignacio from the Kiflo team. I'll be your host, and I've got Tom. He will be our moderator, so everything related to the questions and the timing, Tom will be helping us today. Okay, so please put yourself there in the chat. So where are you joining us today? And we'll give 1 minute extra for people to join. We are almost 10 now, so we'll make so someone Lincoln. So yeah, put yourself where you're joining today, and also Denver. Sonia, hi, Sonia. We have Sammy, and we got someone from Seattle. Nice, Seattle is a beautiful place. Cool. Okay, so we all got almost 15 now, 12 months in Denver. Nice. Hi, Sonia. Cool. So we'll give maybe 1 more minute and then I'll introduce our guest today and we can get us started. Blake. Blake from Florida.
Florida.
Beautiful Blake.
Nice.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so let's wait 1 minute and we'll get going. Tonya, Nottingham, UK. Oh, our guest is from the UK as
Nice.
well. Israel, Lev, hi Lev. Beautiful. Okay, Tom, I think that we can get us started because we have a lot to cover
Yes,
today. Okay, so
exactly.
welcome again, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you. And today we have a extremely good topic to talk about. So radical simplicity, and you'll get a lot of insights into how to build a frictionless, scalable partner program. That's what we all want. And today we have our guest. Again, I mentioned he's a friend of the house, Linkon Axon. He's the founder of Arys. He's based in the UK, and today he will be sharing all his knowledge. Lincoln, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Hello, everybody out there watching. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I really appreciate it. And it's going to be a great session. It's a topic that is very important, especially when it comes to programs. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to speaking about it. So thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Amazing, amazing. So
So happy to have you.
we are super happy to have you and excited for everyone that is joining. So maybe what we can do is we can start with the first topic, and before deep diving into that, we have a poll. Again, we encourage you to ask questions, and then this will be an interactive session. Okay, so maybe we can bring the first topic, Tom, which
Mhm.
is modularity and agility. This is all about creating systems, processes that scale, and basically that adapt to what you need. Okay, so let's just first put the poll out there for you to answer. So how much clarity in your partner program do you think you have as a partner leader? Okay, so we have medium clarity, low clarity. It seems like medium. If you're lost, you can also tell us that you're lost.
Yeah, don't be
That's
shy.
nothing wrong about it. But I guess that we all kind of like are in that medium clarity or low clarity, which is great because today we are trying to give you as much value as you can. And basically, Lincoln will deep dive into a lot of things that will give us or put us in that kind of like full clarity situation. Okay, so I think that it's clear it's a winner that medium clarity, and there are a lot of topics
Mhm.
that we'll cover, but medium clarity seems to be the winner. So let's go back to the topic, Tom. So Lincoln, it's all about creating systems and processes that scale, right? And that it gives you kind of like clarity on like what you actually need. So all yours on this first one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. It's as I said, it's a great topic, and it's something that that a lot of people overlook. It's very complex to build something simple, but it's very simple to make something complex. And I think that's kind of where we start from. I guess there's, partners are looking for deal size, deal velocity, and deal cadence, and there's a lot to be said for that, for radical minimalism, especially in the race to value, because that is what partners are looking for, by removing everything except what actually matters, to turn simplicity itself into the differentiator, and turn people into the heroes of their own story is absolutely key. And people will always revert to the path of least resistance, especially in professional environments that demand repetitiveness. Ego process and procedures and systems need to be built utilizing the principle as their North Star, so that they rise to the top. So for us, I mean, we simplify the partner journey into two primary channels. It's clarity and control.
Correct.
So clarity in the context of context, so building clarity with context, incentives, enablement, etc., and then control, in the guise of choice. So when it comes to modularity, so our first topic that we're approaching, we essentially help just build system and processes that scale up and down depending on a partner's needs. Now, we all know the set and forget motion is obsolete. You can't force somebody to be a partner or utilize potential systems that is beneficial for what you're trying to do. What it needs to be is make sure that there is stability in the flexibility that you're offering, governance of choice, shortening that test, iterate, adoption phase, for example, deploying bare minimum approval layers, agile minimum governance models, i.e. only enforce what's necessary, plug and play marketing and sales collaterals that are editable. Giving people that choice is absolutely huge. Dynamic tiering, AI predictive analytics to identify high value opportunities, things like that. And that is absolutely huge when it comes to providing clarity via context and and providing control via choice.
Beautiful. Really well done. And I don't know if you have questions. I will encourage everyone to ask
Yeah.
questions on this topic while we are talking about, so that Lincoln can cover those. So if there are any questions on this, please put them in the chat and we'll cover those. And if not, we can certainly move to the next topic.
Yeah, no questions for now,
Okay,
but
maybe they'll
yeah.
come later for the other subtopics. So maybe we can move to the
Yeah.
second subtopic, Tom,
Hmm.
which is building systems that respect people's time. This is a great one because, again, it's all about leveraging automation and creating things that are frictionless. So it's all about that experience as well, right, Lincoln?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, so how can we create something that provides subjective value, that meets clients and partners where they are in the simplest terms possible, that combines the drive to consistent engagement? That's what we're looking at as partner leaders. So for us, we use predominantly 5 steps to do that and build those systems that respect people's time. Modularity is one of them. Don't overwhelm your partners with options, especially ones that they don't need or are never feasibly going to use. Try progressive disclosure by only revealing advanced options as they become more engaged and as the needs arrive. Something that's generally overlooked is asking. Just ask. Understand user priorities by identifying their specific needs. That ensures the value prop focuses on what clients and partners care about the most. And there's a lot to be said for keeping it simple and solving their one big problem. Something that we do almost every day at Arys as consultants, by using that radical simplicity principle. We ask, what is your one big problem? And we go ahead and solve that problem. It's funny how things tend to fall in line after that. Anchoring value with clarity is probably point number 3. Create highly subjective and clearly demonstrable value propositions that remain visible across the user experience, the partner lifecycle, and the buyer's journey. Because your ICP drives your IPP. Like Joe Rice says, show me your customers, and I'll show you your partners. So really, really, really important. And it's also a great way to showcase why they chose your solution or initiative in the first place over a competitor's, because the partner marketplace is becoming far more competitive due to choice and buyer education. Intuitive navigation is also a big one. Less is more when it comes to usability. 100%. Again, people will revert to the path of least resistance. So a decluttered UX and UI, especially when it comes to partner tech like Kiflo, follows a familiar design pattern to help them make the experience feel natural. And repetitive tasks obviously should always be automated. And be contextually aware as point number 5. Tailor your partner or client's user journey based on that behavior and known preferences from the metrics that you're gathering and the data that you're generating through your sales and your partnership. So I think that's probably key. Use non-intrusive guidance, exactly when and where the people might need it. Always meet your partners where they are.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I mean, we have a lot of takeaways here, like show me your customers and I'll show you your partners. That's a huge one. And we all know that that works. And of course, what you said about asking, like, I mean, ask and what is your biggest problem? That's a big one, because sometimes we just try to overcomplicate things, but just by asking simple things and what is your big problem or big one problem, then you get to know a lot of that. So really well said. And again, related to asking, if you have questions for
Yeah.
Linkon, please do put them in the chat. I think that it's important that you get your
Yeah.
questions answered live. Okay.
Okay.
So meet the partners where they are, right? That's right,
That's
Sonia.
common. Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Cool. So
Yeah, don't be
let's
shy. It seems our audience is pretty shy today. Don't be shy. Lincoln is here to answer all of your questions. So if you have one, just put in the chat and we'll help you with it.
definitely. Cool. We do have a one from Richard.
Yeah, Richard says, do you have an infographic or slide outlining your 5-point process?
Yeah, absolutely. What we're going to do to this, we're going to, obviously this is being recorded, guys. What we're going to do is we're actually going to attach some collaterals to the recording in the form of links, and we're actually going to provide pretty much whatever you ask for. So we've already got one, which is the modularity side of things. We've created an ebook on modularity that takes you through step-by-step guide on how to build a modular partner program, which was the first point that we covered. That is going to be attached to this recording. So any collaterals or any infographics that you'd like to see, please just pick up the recording once it has been posted, and we'll post a bunch of collaterals and infographics on there for you, no problem at all.
That's beautiful. And again, these are the perks of actually joining this series, and Lincoln is super kind to actually share those. So again, you'll get the recording and you'll get also the collaterals, as Lincoln mentioned. And we do have another question from Sarah, right?
Yeah, Sarah is asking how to get velocity if your partner is too busy.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Again, it's about meeting them where they are, because we are all busy at the best of times. So, as partners, the good ones know, again, deal size, deal velocity, and deal cadence is what they're looking for. But yes, we're all completely busy. So meeting them where they are and finding out what suits them best is key, number one. Number two, making sure that you have built-in cadences and communication cadences, so that there are set periods of time they know that you are going to speak with each other, that are fairly non-negotiable, can be flexible, obviously, but you have set cadences so that if they don't have time to talk to you between, at least they can again gather the information they need to then be able to speak to you on that cadence call. But they know it's going to happen, and just make sure that they're set as early as you possibly can.
Nice. And I think that we have another one from
And we
Sonia.
have another one, yeah. Sonia's asking, what are the 1-2 things we should be thinking about before we start to build our partner program in terms of operational processes?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Something that we've been talking about a lot with clients recently is, and something that my friend Jason Yarborough says, that businesses have to be partner ready. So things like product market fit. huge. How can you expect your partners to resell your solution if you haven't got product market fit and you're struggling to sell it to your clients directly in a B2C environment? You won't. So making sure you've got that product market fit is absolutely huge. Operational awareness or operational ability is massive. You've got to make sure that you have that internal buy-in throughout on every single level. If your partner program isn't being treated as a strategic priority across every level of your business, you will last a certain amount of time, but if it will eventually stall or fail because you don't have that top-down, bottom-up buy-in, and that's so important. And yeah, so that internal readiness, the operational awareness, making sure you've got the systems and processes in place to be able to support, and you can tell very quickly and very easily via that, Sonia, as if your business is struggling with their internal operational processes to sell and promote their solution to your customers in a B2C environment. They're going to very much struggle to do that in a B2B environment through indirect selling. So that's generally where we advise partners or businesses to look at your internal systems. If they are substandard, then you will probably only recreate a substandard process within your partner program sales motions.
I love that. I love that, and we're getting a lot of takeaways today. I mean,
Yeah.
businesses need to be partner ready. That's a huge one. I mean, if you're not ready, I mean, do not go and look for partners. I mean, you need to be
Yeah,
ready
the
for that.
stats are about 50 to 70% of most partner programs stall or fail because the business is not ready or not taking it seriously.
Yeah, no, completely agree. We do have some other questions. I don't know, Tom, if we have time, but let's just try to cover them right now.
Yes. So Sarah is asking, how do you find the seats of power within the partner organization?
Yeah, that's a really good question. What we do is we essentially train or coach individuals and companies to look for or use internal advocacy. So your internal advocates are going to speak a lot louder than you ever will, and it doesn't matter what position you're coming from or how much value that you are bringing as a partner. The internal advocate will always speak louder to the business that you're trying to interact with than you ever will. So it's about identifying those. Now, seats of power doesn't necessarily mean the CFO or CXO, CMO, CRO. It actually means somebody who speaks the loudest within that company. So it is a matter of doing evaluation. It could be as in form of assessments which uncover those seats of power within businesses. It could be a casual chat. Some of the best information I've ever got cost me $9 at Starbucks for a couple of coffees. It could be that simple. So again, keep it simple, but yes, it's absolutely huge. The CFO will always have the loudest voice within a company more often than not, simply because they know the numbers. So making them your best friend, as you've intimated in the comment section, is absolutely huge. But but somebody might be influencing the CFO as well. So it's 100% about finding them that advocate, that internal advocate, who will be your loudest voice within that your partner's company.
Yeah, well said. I mean, that those internal heroes are your best friends. Not only the CFOs, as Sonia mentioned, but the others as well are super critical. And also providing them with the right information and resources. That's key. We've got a last one from Richard. Maybe we can just
Yes.
put it there.
So Richard's asking, do you have any examples of partner qualifications or partner accreditation processes whereby you can award your partners with the badge, I guess, that says they are capable of reselling your services?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. There's a couple of ways. I mean, we've all heard of gamification, and I have a really strong gamification infographic that we can attach to the recording today, Richard. So yeah, absolutely. That will show you a very clear path to value and how you can potentially gamify that. That's on a points-based system as well. So that can be something that can be done manually, or it can be uploaded and run as an automated process as well. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we've recently seen the Cisco 360, for example, partner program switch from just a basic tiering into a points-based value system, which is a much more modern and fair way of creating that. So what I would do is encourage you to actually go and find out. That's the latest hyperscaler that has done the value-based indexing. I'd encourage you to go and find out. There's plenty of information online about that, and find out the system that they've recently implemented. Yeah, it's really interesting to see, and isn't applicable just to a large organization. It can be rolled out to smaller organizations easily.
Perfect. That's great.
Perfect. I think it's time to go to topic 3.
Yeah, let's move to the next topic. So this is about trimming the fat, which is basically cutting the BS and going straight to the point. So all yours, Lincoln.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's huge. I mean, you know, it's the great examples of that is, you know, with your partners. I mean, because again, their time is precious. As we were saying earlier on, cut your 30-minute meetings to 15 minutes. Make sure everybody's prepared, and get to you know, the grist of the mill. Make sure that you're there, you're present, you're ready to go. You crank out what you need to, potentially pre-send an agenda so that everybody knows what you're on. And then you can, you're again, you're building systems that respect people's time. You know, provide consistent, direct proof of value is also a big one as well, so that they don't have to come asking you for qualification or quantification. It's there, it's in black and white. You've got it. It's direct proof of value, whether that be a case study, metric, a leading or lagging indicator, hitting your KPIs or OKRs, etc. You know, and be accountable. You know, don't dance around the issues, and that's huge. You know, confront issues head on. You know, partners are part of your team, so you need to win together and you need to lose together. And if you do that, you're then creating, you know, that buy-in, and building an environment that essentially they feel comfortable in tackling those issues with you. And I say that, you know, many times great partner leaders don't build partner programs, they build environments where great partner programs can thrive. And that is absolutely paramount to what we're doing. We build environments. We don't necessarily build programs, because the program is the basis, the skeleton, the framework that you hang your initiative on, and that initiative is based in environments which are driven by experience and contextualized drivers. So, you know, again, we get back to show me you know me, and ask. You know, cut it down to the bare minimums, and confront everything head on. Solve those one big problems, and make sure that you're speaking to them, and you have a bias towards action, which also provides clarity and context.
I love that. We are getting a lot of takeaways today, and a quick reminder that partners didn't work for you, they work with you. And as Lincoln said, you need to create that environment where everything thrives. So well said, Lincoln. Cool. So I don't think that we have questions for this, Tom. Maybe we can move to the next one,
Yeah, no.
because the last topic, it's a little bit longer. So using external KPIs, this is what Lincoln was mentioning before. And again, this is all about measuring real outcomes, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so many businesses make the mistake. I'm a general manager by background, so I've run businesses, successful businesses with other people's money. Now I'm running my own. And the biggest problems I saw in those organizations was it was very much an output generated KPIs instead of outcome generated KPIs. So, you know, that for us is, again, cutting to the chase, where because they're focusing on more on real measurable value and outcomes, or improved customer centricity that are meaningful to both parties, and their market impact and their solution. So again, we are making sure that we're focusing on a customer centric ICP driving the IPP and their preferred outcomes. You know, so examples of those would be just simple revenue generation, you know, lead generation, joint market share, time to value, retention rates, CAC and PAC, something that was mentioned earlier on in the comments. Just basic engagement. Again, outcomes over output is absolutely huge, and that's something that we see a lot as well. That we see a lot of great partner people producing some amazing results, but what they're not doing is concentrating on their costs. So in answer to that question, yes, you make the CFO your best friend if you're aligned with their business process and their transparency, and actually forecast and margin to create margins. Speak their language, speak the language of every other department in the company who are doing exactly the same thing, and don't be afraid to do that. I have a few processes and systems that I do to help partner people create forecasts, utilizing those that then speak to the CFO and CEO. So yeah, please hit me up if anybody wants help.
Amazing. Lincoln dropping a lot of value bombs today. So I
Yeah,
mean, you need to pay attention where what this guy is saying, because Lincoln has a
yeah,
lot of experience both in partnerships but also as a general manager and running his own business with partners as well. So outcomes
yeah.
over outputs, that's key. We do have a
And
question
we
from
actually have
Francisco,
one
right?
question from Francisco. Yes. So one of the issues I've ran into frequently is a support organization treating partners as second-rate customers or ignoring, dismissing them altogether. Any suggestions on how to overcome that?
Yeah, hi Francisco. Yeah, no, that's a really great question. You're absolutely right. I mean, at the end of the day, the partners are there to sell their solutions and platforms, not yours. So how do we then overcome that? Again, that internal resilience, treating our partners as strategic priorities across every level of the business is key. That's where you start, because if you don't have that support, then you don't have the support of them to enable your partners correctly and reduce it into a frictionless experience, because that's ultimately what you want. Also, results speak the loudest. Simple as that. If you're generating results, then all of a sudden your partners as second-rate customers become first-rate customers. So enablement, engagement that drive those results are absolutely key. And that starts with short-term results, getting those quick wins in mostly a transactional led motion, but then moves into medium and short-term and medium and long-term engagement, which are purely value-led creations. And that's what sustains partner programs. Every single partner program I've seen based in a transactional process has stalled or failed. Every program or business that has moved into a value-led process has scaled. It's similar to Starbucks. They're actually a bank. They don't make coffee. They have $7 billion worth of unredeemed gift cards, but they're a third place between work and home. McDonald's is a real estate empire, as most people know. Red Bull don't make anything. They're a marketing agency, but everybody thinks they do. So they create value beyond the deal that actually then transcends and drives. And that value doesn't just extend to external, that actually extends to internal. So what value can that partner drive to our sales team directly? What value can that partner drive to our marketing team? So pre-sale, post-sale, how can it affect our AEs and our CS teams, to help them do what they do better? So yeah, we have a thing called a profitable collaborative growth model that we use, which again, we can attach as a collateral to this. And it shows you a clear buyer's journey using a sales everybody knows and is aware of, and then we attach those partner types to each stage of that, which really does help.
Wow. Well, it's all about the value, and certainly Lincoln is bringing the value today, and people are. Well, I agree with Will. This guy knows his stuff. So, Lincoln,
I
you
will.
are getting a lot of love in the chat. So, thanks again for bringing
Yeah,
all the value
thank you
and
very
sharing
much.
all your knowledge with all of us. So,
This was a very comprehensive answer, but we have 2 more minutes
we
and
need to
one
move
more
on.
topic.
Yes,
Yes.
because we are aware of the time. So let's move to the next one. And this is kind of like it's different. What this is something that we haven't done before, but Lincoln is going to show us a 4-step that it's simple, that you can actually, it's actionable. You can actually go and do and implement this on your own. So it's a design to basically go through your partner program. Okay, so Lincoln, all yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it short. So this was an example of an organization at the end of 2023 where they wanted something really simple, and they were going to market with indirect selling or ecosystem-led growth. And so we had to keep it really, really simple, and we condensed it down to a simple 4-step program design, essentially. So step one was all about the customer, as we've already said. ICP drives our IPP. So, but the one thing that we found is a lot of companies don't know their customers. So, for us, and creating that value profile was really, really important for the customers, which then drove our partners. So the company, had to really first understand every aspect of its customer and their life cycle journey and their drivers. So absolutely huge. Step 2, channel sales presentation. I can't tell you how important this is to enable your partners to effectively resell your solution to their clients. This is huge because you're meeting them where they are, you're showing them you know them, you're creating something. And so for us, it's a 2-step process, a sort of customer-centric story selling presentation that can be sent with a push of a button, that can be iterated, can be edited. It can work there when you're not in the room, so that you can convince channel partners the product that you're offering is amazing, and the channel partners use it to convince your ICPs to sign up for the solution. And number 2 is something that's relatively new, a little bit radical, is get a dedicated landing page on your partner's website. It sounds weird. Most people don't. They just put them in the partner, but there's no dedicated landing. So you're selling together, and it makes complete sense. Like, why wouldn't you do that? If you're trying to sell things together, you have to have some sort of information, advanced information on your website. So just something that to think of. Step 3 for us is website optimization is absolutely huge, and driving traffic to it. So nobody wants to trawl through a super slow website that looks like it's been designed in the last century. So, that is really important. That's your shop front online for what you're trying to do. So make sure that it's, it evokes and mirrors the same sense of interest as your presentation, the same channel sales presentation, being high quality and something they want to be involved in. And step 4 is partner program design. And for us, we break this down into 2. We use it as the same principle in this case as a sales strategy. So the 2 resources that we enabled them with was pre-sale tools and post-sale tools. So pre-sale tools included like step-by-step sales resources, presentation videos, training videos, etc., allow to partners to deliver a polished pitch to their clients. And then post-sale tools, for the channel partners that signed a contract and then started working together to deliver value to them. So those tools basically focused on helping partners deliver a good product that would be extremely successful. So I think if that would be my our one absolute is, if you're planning to build your own channel partner program, make sure that you really work hard to build amazing tools for your channel partners, because this is what will drive partner-driven leads like nothing else.
Amazing. Well said, Lincoln. And again, you're getting a lot of value from Lincoln today, and also not only the live kind of like information that you. And again, if you have questions about this subtopic, please ask them now, because Lincoln will go through those. But if not, maybe Lincoln, you can give us kind of like a closing sort of idea or opinion about this, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks again for being with us today, guys. I really appreciate it. Close, I'd probably say working with complexity is actually a big deal, because the law of complexity, known as Tesla's law, basically says that all systems have a certain amount of complexity that can't be removed. So it's about managing the complexity in the design of the system, rather than eliminating it. So removing those blockers are huge. Communication velocity, partner agreements, making sure they're not protracted and fairly simple, depending on the size of organization, obviously. One-sided agreements, get rid of those. It has to be, what's in it for us. Poor sales enablement tools and substandard educational tools as well. And comms is absolutely huge. That comes back to the clarity with contextualization that we were talking about earlier on. So, response time SLAs and things like that are huge. So I think the 3 takeaways that I would say, just to wrap up, is in the sense of radical simplicity would be, helping partners own their journey, giving them autonomy to choose the best path forward. Seeing immediate wins is big. Again, creating that value, reducing that time to value so they experience success quickly, which then leads you on to your value-led experiences. And then feeling valued, not managed. Ensuring that they see you as an enabler, not an administrator. Because essentially when partners feel in control, confident, capable, they don't just participate in the program, and they champion it. And essentially that's the power of radical simplicity.
Amazing, amazing. And certainly this has been an
Great
immediate
end.
win for everyone that joined today because all the value that you bring, Lincoln, it's amazing. So again, thank you a lot for the time and all the information. And I think that we do have a question from Richard. Maybe we can drop it there.
Okay, yeah, we can absolutely, I guess, answer the question. So Richard's asking, what are your top tips on creating cadence in partner commitments?
Yeah, that's a great one. It starts from the beginning. Actually, it starts before the beginning. And again, it's all about asking them what they find valuable, Richard, number one, because what you'll find valuable, well, value is what we call it, is subjective and it's transitory. So it means certain things to certain people, and it always moves. And that's where modularity and the concept of radical simplicity comes into it, is because it will be different. So you need to ask, and it will always move. So you need to be flexible. So the cadence will start out usually very clear, very set in stone, which is fine at the beginning because you need that. And what I would do is make it, we usually say bi-weekly, then bi-monthly, and then once a month, for our cadences. And then obviously you're contacting each other in between, as long as you have comms channels open. Find out what their best comms solutions are. Is it WhatsApp? Is it LinkedIn DMs? Is it an email? Find out what works best. Is it Slack channel? Find out what works best for them, because that way you will then create cadence in your partner commitments, because again, you're meeting them when they are and making it as easy as possible for them to work with you, which is absolute basis for cadence in partner programs.
Lovely, love it. Well, I think that we have run out of time, right, Tom? We need to wrap it
Yeah,
up. I
six
mean, I
more
think that we can
minutes. So
stay
we,
for a lot. People have been like joining this, and they are always there. So thanks again for joining, and a special thank for Lincoln. Honestly, today was
good
full of
job.
value, and I think that people really appreciate it. So just put there in the chat, like I think that Lincoln did an amazing job today. So thanks. And Lincoln, it's an always a pleasure to listen to you because you really know all the stuff that you're talking about.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And thank you for everybody again for taking your time out today to spend some time with us. I really appreciate it. And I hope you took something away.
Love it. And well,
Perfect.
keep an eye on, well, the recording is going to be shared with you, and also all the resources that Lincoln mentioned. Tom will send the email afterwards. So again,
Yeah,
thanks for everyone that joined. And if you're watching the recording, please make sure that the next one you join live. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks,
perfect.
guys.
Awesome.
Have a good
Bye,
one. Take
everyone.
care. Bye bye.